Panda for sponsoring this session on tech and individualized instruction. We're going to be talking today about empowering early literacy. So I'm a professor of cognitive neuroscience, and I'm in the Graduate School of Education at Stanford University. And we're very interested in using the tools of neuroimaging to get a deeper dive into some of the profound educational transformations that happen in the mind of a young learner, of a child. And one of the most critical transitions that happens as a child enters formal education is a profound reorganization of the brain circuitry that enables early literacy. Right now, many people consider that there's a crisis in early literacy. Our educational systems are having a profound struggle in successfully helping kids to go through this transition of reorganizing their minds and brains to take advantage of literacy and become truly expert in literacy. As much as 66% of children, when measured by just basic functional proficiency in 4th grade, are failing these standards across the nation. This is a deep and urgent societal problem that we want to get insights into. And it's also a very exciting time because what we mean by education and how children are learning is changing fundamentally as a role of new educational technologies that they're immersed in. They're becoming digital natives. They're experiencing the pathways into education for early literacy in a fundamentally different way. And we're looking at academic and industry partnerships in order to explore some of the potentials of diving deep into the learning sciences and the changes that occur in the individual child brain as children learn to read, and also trying to link that to the learning experiences and the potential for educational technology to provide playful and engaging learning experiences in order to catalyze these changes and then hopefully make an impact on these profound transitions that kids are going through. We're also in an age of big data where, as never before, we can get a snapshot of the entire nation. Every single public school district in the entire country can now be quantified in terms of how well they're doing on basic fundamental educational achievement, such as early literacy. And this helps us dive into and gain lots of great understanding into the problem at many, many different layers. This graph, every single one of these little clouds or bubbles that you see is an individual school district. And we've represented every single school district here in the entire country. And one of the insights from this graph is that how well children are doing at the task of reorganizing their minds and brains for literacy is fundamentally related to the quality and the access that they have to great educational resources. There's a powerful relationship between how much the average income and the resources that a district has and how well children are doing, such that some children are in districts where the entire average for the entire district is 3 grade levels above the national average. And other districts where the entire district average is 3 grade levels below. Very early on in education, there are profound differences for the educational access and resources that children have. And this is where technology can potentially make a difference. Here we are in Las Vegas City. We can see that the average of the district is 1.3 grade levels behind the national average. And one of the primary factors is what is the quality of resources that children have to enable these learning experiences. We also know a lot from the learning sciences that how well a child's doing in overall literacy skill is tied to fundamental cognitive operations that are based in word recognition skills. Word recognition skills are highly predictive of a child's future and current comprehension ability, especially in the early reading years. And we also can see that precursor skills that children have, that they learn early on, such as letter sound knowledge, linking letters to sounds and phonemic awareness, can have a profound and predictive relationship for how well children do in this skill. And we also have some very exciting emerging findings that if you remediate early, you can prevent many of these problems. There's also been a tremendous breakthrough in terms of the brain sciences and insights into what's happening in the mind of a child. This is an average of 32 second grade brains, looking at activation as children are engaged in early literacy activities, such as recognizing letters and recognizing letter sounds. And we're getting new insights that gaining a foundation in literacy has a profound and challenging task for the brain. The brain has to plastically reorganize such that areas that represent auditory words are linked together in a novel way, in a systematic way, with brain areas that represent vision. This is a novel connection for the human brain, and one that comes through thousands and thousands of hours of practice, such that in the skilled adult state, one of what might be 50,000 visual word forms is linked in the blink of an eye to exactly the corresponding word that somebody has in their auditory language. So reading is a profound challenge of integrating these two different cognitive systems and brain systems that a child has. And we're starting to get insights into the changes that occur through play and the learning activities. So we're also getting insights that there are meaningful differences between children in terms of how these brain circuits are set up. Not all children approach the task of reorganizing their brain for literacy with the same set of neural circuits. These differences in brains are meaningful. They link systematically to how successful a child is, with all else being equal instruction. And there's also been some amazing discoveries lately that as children learn, it actually drives changes, especially in these regions that connect vision and language. These white matter tracts are actually changing in their physical properties as children are engaging in learning. And there have been some amazing studies showing that as you take illiterates versus literates in different cultures, it actually links to different white matter tract properties in these regions. And as you engage in learning, you can strengthen and change these regions. There's also been some exciting updates demonstrating that as kindergartners engage in play and digital learning, it actually drives changes in the brain activity within the very regions of the visual system and the language system and the connections between these that support this expert circuit that supports literacy. So some of the implications for technology design is what we're exploring in these industry and academic partnerships in order to try to harness these insights and these differences in brain plasticity. So we're interested in technology designs that can make letter phoneme mappings very, very explicit for a child, grab their attention, focus them on the connections in a playful way. Technology has an incredible potential for being adaptive and adapting to the individual needs of a particular learner, and can lead to sticky and repetitive practice that the kids are interleaved with rest periods, which can help them drive from effortful to automatic. And the design and playful design of the right educational technologies can carefully guide a child's attention in a way that reshapes these brain circuits. One new frontier in this is leading to new and surprising insights that actually integrating vision and language to support early literacy can be boosted by other modalities that are engaged in physical play. So when children are allowed to reach out and grab and touch in a tactile fashion, play objects and letters, it actually provides a significant boost to the letter-sound integration that occurs, which is the foundation for literacy and these brain systems that support literacy. So play and technology provide something which I think is a new possibility for addressing this challenge within literacy. Play allows us to engage children, to start early and potentially finish strong. And there are many emerging principles that we're exploring in very systematic ways, the affordances of these technologies, to actually change these circuits that allow active learning and allow a child to be fully engaged in a learning experience, to build connections between print and language through repeated exposure, to use touch and physical play, such as what you see here with the plastic letters and the square panda unit and some of the research that we're doing with that. And one of the fundamental principles is that the way you design play can guide attention in powerful ways, provide repetition and consolidation, and these technologies really allow adaptive, playful approaches that can automate learning. So I'm very excited about this new emerging knowledge that we're having, deep insights into the child brain and how the child brain is changing and emerging with learning, the affordances within educational technologies to accelerate and adapt to this learning for the individual differences that child have, and ultimately potentially making an impact on a fundamental educational challenge which has significant societal value. So I'm going to stop there, and I don't think there's time for questions, but I'll be around for several hours. Okay.
I have one question. Have you ever, so you put kids' brains inside like MRIs or?
Yes, yes. So MRI is sort of safe and effective for children as long as you can coax them to hold incredibly still for quite some time. And usually we do that by actually engaging them in games and educational technologies while they're in there.
I have like 3 days more of questions for Bruce.
Okay.
Fascinating stuff, and I think that the using technology to study technology is what they're doing at Stanford, and let's give them a round of applause for that.